You're sitting on the couch, scrolling your phone, when your dog casually leans their full weight against your leg. It feels warm, comforting, like a furry hug, and deep down you probably think, oh, they love me. But what if I told you? That lean might mean something entirely different. For years we've been told that when dogs lean against us, it's a simple sign of affection, like holding hands or cuddling. But the truth, it's way more complicated than that. In fact, that lean could be a cry for help, a plea for space, or even a subtle way of claiming control. In this video, we're breaking down not just this myth, but 8 other everyday dog behaviors you might be completely misreading. And once you know what they really mean, you'll never look at your dog the same way again. Let's start with the one that seems the most innocent of all, the lean. Let's bust the fluff right away. Leaning isn't always about love. Sure, sometimes it is. When your dog leans into you during a quiet moment, eyes soft, tail wagging lazily, that's trust. That's connection. That's them saying, you're my safe space. Dogs are social animals, and for many, leaning is a way to feel close, grounded, bonded. But here's the thing, not all leans are created equal. Sometimes dogs lean because they are anxious. Thunderstorm outside, new people over, vet visit looming. They might press into you like you're a life raft. That's not affection. It's survival. Their body is seeking stability, and you're the nearest anchor. Other times, dogs lean because they want something. Maybe it's food, maybe it's belly rubs, maybe it's just your attention. They've figured out that when they press into you, you react. And once it works, they'll keep doing it. It's not manipulation, just smart dog logic. Then there's the lean that's about control. Subtle, sure, but real. Some dogs lean to claim space. You're standing and suddenly they're pressed against your leg, nudging slightly. Not aggressive, not loud, but quietly saying, this is mine. Especially in multi-dog households, leaning can be a gentle form of body blocking or resource guarding. And we can't forget the medical angle. A sudden increase in leaning, especially from older dogs, might not be behavioral at all. It could be physical, hip pain, joint stiffness, inner ear issues. Dogs who feel off balance lean for literal support. They trust your stability more than their own legs. So, how do you tell the difference? Watch their whole body. Are the ears relaxed or pinned? Is their weight shifting or stiff? Is the tail wagging or tucked? Affection has softness. Anxiety carries tension. Pain shows in hesitation. And attention-seeking usually comes with expectant eyes and maybe a little whine. Bottom line, the lean might be love, but it could be fear or habit or something deeper. That's why reading context is everything. Because when dogs talk, they don't use words. They use their weight. But tail wags? That's a language we all think we understand, right? Ah, yes, the classic tail wag. Everyone sees it and thinks, look, they're happy. But here's the wild truth. A wagging tail doesn't always mean joy. In fact, sometimes it means the exact opposite. Think about it. Have you ever seen a dog wagging like crazy, but with a stiff posture? Eyes wide, maybe even growling? That tail's going, but it's not a party, it's a warning, a signal, like a car revving its engine. Movement doesn't always mean welcome. Science backs this up. Studies show that dogs wag more to the right when they're relaxed and happy, but more to the left when they're feeling anxious or uncertain. Yep, even tail wags have directionality, and guess what? Other dogs can read that just by looking. There's also the speed. A slow, loose wag with a wiggly butt. That's a good sign. A fast, tight wag held high. That can mean arousal, nervousness, or even aggression, especially when paired with erect ears and a closed mouth. And don't forget breed differences. A Labrador's joyful helicopter tail isn't the same as a Shiba Inu's subtle swish. Some breeds wag all the time, others hardly wag at all. And dock tails make it even harder to read the signs. Even context matters. A tail wag while greeting you at the door? Likely happy. A tail wag when being cornered by a stranger? Possibly fear-driven. One signals excitement, the other says, back off, I'm on edge. So the next time you see that tail go, don't assume it means your pup's over the moon. Look at the full picture, the posture, the ears, the environment. Because the truth is, a wagging tail isn't always waving hello. Sometimes it's waving you away. And if you think that's surprising, wait until we talk about licking. You might think it's pure love. But is it? You feel your dog's warm tongue swipe your hand. Or maybe they obsessively lick their paws, or worse, a wound. Cute, right? Or gross? Depends who you ask. But here's the thing. Licking isn't always a sign of love, Etienne. And it definitely doesn't have magical healing powers. Let's clear that one up first. Yes, dog saliva contains some mild antibacterial properties, but not enough to heal wounds. In fact, excessive licking can make things worse, introducing new bacteria, causing irritation, or turning a scratch into a festering mess. Ever seen a hot spot? That's a licking problem turned into a full-blown skin disaster. But licking isn't just about wounds. Some dogs lick themselves or you compulsively. Why? Often it's anxiety. When a dog feels stressed, they may lick to self-soothe. It's like biting your nails. Feels calming in the moment, but it's not solving anything. And licking you, that isn't always affection either. It could be a learned behavior. Your pup figured out that licking gets attention. You smiled, you petted them, you laughed. Now it's on repeat. If I lick, they notice me. Smart dog. Manipulative maybe, honest always. Licking can also be a sign of boredom, nausea, or even pain, especially if it's directed at a single body part. If your dog is licking the same paw over and over, it's not sending kisses, it's sending a signal. So, how do you respond? Don't just say "or," watch for patterns, check for injury, ask if it's new or obsessive, because sometimes the sweetest gestures hide the most discomfort. And speaking of gestures that feel loving but aren't, let's talk about hugs. We get it. You love your dog. You want to wrap your arms around them and never let go. You want to bury your face in their fur, squeeze them close and whisper, "You're my everything." But here's the uncomfortable truth. Your dog might hate that. Unlike humans, dogs don't hug in the wild. It's not a natural canine behavior. In fact, to a dog, having both sides of their body restrained, especially by a larger being, can feel threatening, like being trapped, held down, powerless. Sure, some dogs tolerate it, some might even enjoy it in very specific contexts, but many dogs show clear signs of discomfort when hugged. Turning their head away, licking their lips, yawning or freezing completely. These aren't signs of joy, they're signs of stress. There's even research to back it up. A study from the University of British Columbia analysed hundreds of photos of people hugging their dogs, and in most of them, the dogs showed visible signs of anxiety. It doesn't mean your dog doesn't love you, it just means they show it differently. Belly rubs? Yes. Ear scratches? Absolutely. Sitting next to you, head on your lap? That's their kind of hug. So next time you want to squeeze the fluff out of your pup, take a pause. Ask if it's for them or for you. Because love means knowing when to hold back. But don't worry, if your dog runs through the door ahead of you, that doesn't mean they're trying to dominate your relationship either. That's a whole other myth. You open the door and zoom, your dog's out before you can blink. And somewhere in the back of your mind, you remember something about dominance. Alpha dogs go first, right? Pack leaders always lead the way. But guess what? That's not science. That's old-school dog training fluff. Dogs rush through doors because they are excited, they're curious, they're eager to explore, they're not plotting a power grab, they're just fast. The idea that doorway behavior reflects dominance came from outdated pack theories, ones that were mostly based on captive wolf studies that have since been debunked. Real canine behavior, especially in domestic dogs, doesn't follow that rigid alpha structure. And honestly, some dogs just want to get outside and sniff things. That's not dominance, that's joy, that's energy, that's zoomies in action. Of course, there are reasons to teach your dog to wait at doors for safety, so they don't dart into traffic or trip your grandma. But making them wait isn't about reminding them who's boss. It's about creating calm habits. So if your pup bolts through the door like it's the 100-meter dash, don't worry, they're not staging a coup, they're just being dogs. But what happens when we assume dogs do everything for us? That they exist just to make us happy? Let's bust that myth next. We love to say it, don't we? Dogs just want to make us happy. It sounds sweet, comforting, like your dog's life mission is to earn your smile. But let's pull back the curtain on that feel-good phrase. The truth? Dogs don't do things to please you. They do things that get them something in return. Let's be honest, dogs are incredible learners. They notice what gets rewarded and they repeat it. Sit, gets a treat. Stay, gets praise. Come when called. That's a game of fetch or a belly rub. They're not performing out of devotion. They're doing business. And you, my friend, are the vending machine. This doesn't make them selfish, it makes them smart. Studies from the University of Vienna show that dogs obey commands because they've associated those commands with positive outcomes, not because they're trying to win your approval. It's not about being good boys or good girls, it's about cause and effect. That's why consistency matters. If you reward jumping up with attention one day and scold it the next, your dog's not confused. They're just weighing the odds. So yes, your dog loves you. But when they sit on cue, they're not thinking, I want to please my human. They're thinking, this move gets me snacks. And once you accept that, training becomes way easier, because now you're not guessing their motives. You're understanding their language. Learning something new, tap subscribe and keep going. But sometimes we misunderstand their language completely, especially when they growl. And punishing that can be dangerous. Your dog growls at another dog. Or at a stranger, or even at you, your gut reaction, bad dog. Maybe you scold, maybe you shush, maybe you feel a little embarrassed. But here's the truth you absolutely need to hear. Growling is not aggression, it's communication. When a dog growls, they're saying, I'm uncomfortable. They're giving you a warning. They're setting a boundary. And when you punish them for it, guess what they learn? It's not safe to warn anymore. That's when dogs start skipping steps. No growl, no signal, just bite. Research from the American Veterinary Society of Animal Behavior confirms this. Punishing growling increases the risk of sudden aggression, because now your dog feels the same discomfort, but has lost their voice. Imagine if every time you said, "Hey, I need space," someone yelled at you. Eventually you'd stop speaking. But the feelings wouldn't go away. They'd build. Same with dogs. So the next time your dog growls, don't punish. Pause. Ask, what triggered that? Was it fear, pain, a boundary crossed? Then address that, not the growl. Because a growl isn't defiance, it's a lifeline. It's your dog trusting you enough to say something's wrong. And speaking of trust, let's talk about first impressions. Because sticking your hand out for a sniff, not as friendly as you think. You've probably done it 100 times. You meet a new dog and what do? Hand out, palm down, fingers stiff. Let them sniff you first, right? It feels polite, respectful, but not quite right. According to animal behaviorists at Tufts University, sticking your hand into a dog's face can feel like an invasion. Imagine meeting someone new and having them shove their hand inches from your nose. It's not a greeting, it's an intrusion. Dogs don't need your hand to decide if you're okay. They've already picked up your scent from feet away. Their noses are so powerful, they can smell your stress, your shampoo, and what you had for lunch before you've even said hi. The better move, stand still, turn slightly sideways. Avoid direct eye contact. Let them choose to come closer. Let them decide if they want to sniff, nudge, or engage. Because when a dog gets to make the first move, they feel safe, and safety builds trust. Forcing interaction, especially with shy or reactive dogs, can backfire fast. What was meant as friendliness comes off as pressure. So next time you meet a pup, ditch the hand wave. Be cool, be calm, let them make the first move. But what happens when your dog does make a face and it looks like guilt? Let's talk about that final myth, the one that tricks even the most experienced dog parents. You come home to find a shredded pillow, your dog's head is low, ears back, eyes wide. That look, it screams, "I'm sorry?" Or does it? We love to believe our dogs feel guilt, that they know they've done something wrong. But here's the truth bomb. That guilty look, it's not guilt, it's fear. Multiple studies, like the famous one from Barnard College, show that dogs display the same guilty behaviors even when they haven't done anything wrong. It's not about the act, it's about your reaction. Dogs are emotional sponges. They read your tone, your posture, your tension. If you walk in the door angry, even without saying a word, they can feel it. That wide-eyed, low-posture look. It's not, "I regret chewing your shoe," it's, "You're upset, and I don't know why." And here's the kicker. Punishing a dog after the fact doesn't teach them not to do it again. They don't connect the punishment to the act unless it's immediate. What they do learn is that your arrival equals stress. So next time your pup gives you the look, pause. Ask yourself, are they sorry or just scared of how you'll react? Because dogs aren't moral creatures. They don't plot. They don't lie. They don't do things to hurt you. They just do dog things. And when those things go wrong, they need understanding, not shame. And with all these myths shattered, one big question remains. What should you do when your dog leans on you next? The next time your dog leans against you, pause for a second. Don't just assume it's love. Don't just brush it off either. Instead, take a breath and observe. Is their body soft, ears relaxed, eyes half closed? Then yeah, that lean probably is love. A quiet moment of trust, a connection deeper than words. But if their body is tense, if they're panting, wide-eyed or trembling, that lean might be a request for help. Are they trying to wedge between you and another dog? It might be a power play. Are they pressing into you while staring at their food bowl? Smart move, they're training you. And if leaning is new, especially for an older dog, don't ignore it. It could be pain, joint issues, weakness, a silent cry for support. So what should you do? Respond with awareness. If it's love, enjoy it. If it's fear, comfort them. If it's need, assess the context. And if it's pain, call the vet. Because leaning is never random. It's always communication. And when you listen carefully, you'll hear what your dog's trying to say, even without a single bark. So, is your dog leaning on you right now? What are they trying to tell you? Drop a comment and tell us your dog's quirkiest habit and what you used to think it meant. We read every one, and trust us, some of them are hilarious. And if you thought leaning was surprising, wait till you see what it means when your dog stretches the moment they see you. There's a reason behind it, and it's more emotional than you think. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with a dog parent who still thinks tail wags mean I love you. Because the more we understand our dogs, the more they can feel understood. And isn't that what love really means?